my grandmother was a weaver. She also made a lot of other textile works, but there was a loom in her home, and there was always cloths on the loom, and always tablecloths. Now this is not hand woven, but there was always nice textiles in the home, like for making a table or for the beds, for like carpets, everything handmade. And I think the whole respect of these traditional textiles, for me it was like that's what it was, that no one questioned that. It was handmade, it was there, it was textile that you were using. And I think when I've been older now, I can see that, okay, this has meant a lot for me, that, well, if you need a rug, you'll make it. If you need a tablecloth, you go and weave it. You can make things. As a child, that was, of course, just, well, that's how it is. Everyone has like that. And then I think when I grew up, we repaired a lot, not just buy new stuff. We learned how to repair it so that it looked good. And also the quality. When you make something that lasts. Make something you can repair on, so that you don't need to throw it out and make new ones. So make good quality. Then you can continue working on it. And the more you use it, the more beautiful it gets. But I think that's been where I was brought up, and family stories. Then when I chose my education, I went to the design school here in Copenhagen. I was thinking of applying to Sweden because I wanted to work in the industry more. But there was a lot of people saying to me, no, you should go to Copenhagen. It's a little bit more artistic. And I think that's drawn me to, okay, I'll try the design school in Copenhagen. I loved the design school. That was fantastic. It was exploration and experiments, and yeah, I think that was really interesting for me to have time to explore, be free, compared to maybe having, well, you have to learn all these 100 patterns before you can go here. That doesn't really work for me. I need to be able to explore and try it right away. Yeah, so, and then after my education, I worked in the industry for 1.5 years. I could feel, I mean, it's a good job, and I think it's very important. You have the possibility to actually go out and check so the textile industry is doing good, and that the textile industry are doing also good for the people that works there, and so that you don't overproduce. All these things are very important, but I missed the craft, the handcraft. So I think that has pushed me now to teach weaving and teach color, and then also pushed me into developing my own artworks. So my life as a teacher and also as an artist is, I often describe it as I'm doing a patchwork. It's so many different parts. I teach in different kinds of school in Denmark. There is, every week I have week classes where people come and they learn weaving. And I also have workshops. It can be 1 week, it can be 2 weeks, or a weekend. And then it's more specified, like in colors or in one weaving binding. I teach sometimes at the design school, but that is only like workshop-wise, like 1 week. Also over in Jutland. Also there is like schools where I have 1 week or 2 weeks. And in Sweden, then I'm actually going to have a course now in where it comes international people. That I think is very interesting, to have people from abroad. I actually don't know where exactly they are coming from. So my teaching work is a few days that are set that I go to. We have a weaving studio quite close to here where we are 5 teachers, so we have 1 day each where we teach, and we have evening classes, we have day classes, we have workshops, we have different kinds of. And I think right now I can see, because of course there is a lot of older people that have finished work and they want to go and learn how to weave, but there is also coming a lot more younger people, so the interest is growing. And that is very, very nice. I think there is a quite big tendency now that you want to dig into the traditions. You want to know, you want to learn. And I think it's both because we can see, many of us can see that, hey, we don't know how to do this anymore. We have to learn from these people that are still there. So there is a lot of interest in old traditions, but also to the situations that we are in. Maybe we cannot ask people on the other side of the world to make our clothes or to weave our tablecloth. Maybe we have to do it ourselves, even to grow the material. Like I showed you before, the very old linen. Maybe we actually need to know, how do we grow linen now? How do we make more stuff here locally? That is a big interest and a big task, I think, for the whole Scandinavia. And we have been outsourcing so many things. Now I'm more a craft person, but if we check on the industries, there is 1 weaving mill in Denmark. 1, and it's a very small. In Sweden there are still a few quite big weaving industries, but everything is sourced out. So, and that, I think, yes, of course, you're optimizing things and it goes quicker and it goes cheaper and all these things, but now it maybe has gone too far. So I think it's important to know that, okay, how do we actually keep our knowledge here? We have to know how to continue doing things to make it better. The more I learn, the more that I research, the more aware I am of what I'm using. But when it comes to the material, it's also a little conflict with me, because I also love materials that are maybe not as, like good for nature. I love plastic, and I also hate plastic. That is a complex thing for me. But I think I'm trying to see what's there. For example, I made a project now with cardboard, a material that is sending all over the world, and then it's going into a recycling bin, hopefully, in the best case. I think it's interesting to grab some of this cardboard and see, can I make something out of it? Can I cut it? Can I weave with it? Can I sculpture it? Can I actually use this material? When I started at school, the focus on sustainability and the materials was maybe not that much as it is today. So there I got my interest for the plastic material. And because I made so nice sculptures and experiments, it has continued with me. But today I'm also learning a lot of linen. And because I have the knowledge in plastic, I'm trying to, transform this knowledge into the linen instead. Can I make something in linen? Can I make something that is really sustainable and has all these value that I have made with plastic before? And that I hope, and I think the whole industry should actually, and they are also doing this. How do we turn our materials around so it's good for the environment, good for us, good also, of course, if you make something for your body, you need to be comfortable in it. I love colors. I am very much color. So I'm having a little conflict with myself with these linen materials. I think that the natural color in the linen is very beautiful when you know the story. The story because they are getting different kinds of nuances from depending on where it grows. If it's you know, depending if it's here in Denmark or up in Sweden with the whole forest, it depends on where it grows, how the gray or the brownish nuance is. But as I say, I love colors, so I am coloring them, and I often work very strongly in colors. Also in my artworks, I have quite a lot of color theory in my background, and that helps me a bit. But I also love to just explore colors as they are. I research. I look through books, and I talk with people I know, people I don't know. I research a lot if it's a binding, if it's a thing, if it's a color. It doesn't really matter, but I research a lot in the title. Also the title, that is also, it's not set from the beginning, but it's something that I work with in the start of the process. And I draw a lot. I also work with materials. Sometimes I can, find something that I think it's interesting. I bring it with me. The sketchbook is very, very important for me. And then I develop it. I often split it up in different categories. So I have like colors, techniques, dimensions. So I know, okay, which colors am I working on? Which techniques am I working on? Often weaving. And dimensions, is it this small or is it a huge thing? Of course, where does it go? Is it total free work for me? That's the most fun, but it's also quite hard because then there is no edges. Is it something that is specific for a place? Then it's more structured. And I make some research of, if I'm going to weave, I make, of course, a research in the warp, because that's my ground thing. I have to make a warp to put up on my loom. And I am never finished with my finished idea before I start weaving. I'm always open there, because it's always happening things in the loom. So I start maybe with, okay, I'm going to have a white warp. I'm going to weave with red weft. And I start and I'm like, no, I'm going to have blue weft now. So there is also very important for me to have space and time to develop and explore in the loom. In the loom, it's getting flat, it's getting two-dimensional. And then what pushes me a lot is the material. And I also want to get it out of the loom and form it. So that is also a part of my project, to see, can I weave something that automatically makes a form, or do I have to after-treat it afterwards? As a weaver, when I was educated, I came out as a designer, and then I started teaching. I was a craft person, doing weaving as a craft. Today, I say myself as a textile artist, and I think it's I'm really leaning backwards to my knowledge and to my traditions, and I think I feel really safe there. But what is pushing me is my freedom to be able to do. I'm taking a lot of inspiration in the art, and especially the ones that weave art, because they don't sit, very close to the woven piece and say, oh, it's a small mistake here. That I think sometimes hold back with, you can see a little thing that doesn't work. If you go to an art exhibition, you are standing 2 meters away and you don't see that, or it becomes part of it, or maybe that is the thing. And I think that is very interesting. And in Scandinavia, the weaving in the art world is growing. It's getting really, really big. There is so much interest in weaving. I think it's fantastic to see, especially the young people going into weaving, where they are like just exploring, just trying, just, seeing weaving as a fun tool. It's just an old, boring, traditional thing you have to know everything about. And that is inspiring me. But I do think also, for me, I am proud of knowing the tradition and the history as well. When they were small, I pushed a lot. I wanted them to weave and to draw and to be creative. They have it. They see me and my husband. We are a family that is very, very creative, and all of us are drawing or taking photos. And my daughter especially, she is very much into textiles. I am proud to say that she knows how to weave. I am doing a lot of projects in Copenhagen where they call me a house artist, where I go out and have classes, and these young people are between 13 and 16. And when I stand there and I have a whole class with maybe 25, 30 students, I ask, have you been weaving before? And sometimes, or quite often, none of them has been weaving. And I think that is my mission. That's why I continue doing this. We are weaving paper weavings. It's just up and down. Weaving, it sounds so complex, but it's one thread up and one thread down. Doesn't need to be more complex. It's a weaving. So I think I do have a mission to bring out color and weaving fibers to young people. I'm not worried at all about my kids. They are not happily running after me and saying, "Mom, can we weave?" No. But they know weaving. And my daughter, she is making stuff. She is maybe knitting or crocheting more than she's weaving. And they're both drawing and doing music. So I think they've got it through me. And I do understand now they are soon teenagers. I'm not going to push them anymore now, because then they're going to hate it even more. I'm teaching an international weaving course in 2 weeks.
Oh my
and we're going
goodness.
to work with these things. It's called monk's belt, the pattern. And it's the same pattern in all of them. That's quite interesting. This is a very old traditional one. And then I'm experimenting with it. And right now I'm also putting in like cardboard, because I'm also thinking like waste materials, how can we use it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're sending it back and forth, and it's just scrap materials.
Yeah.
But to use it in a more artistic way could be really nice and important to use what we actually have here. On the other side of the loom, I have linen that is hand spun for 100 years. She was a bit, I don't know, like angry or something, and I was like, "You don't have to give me a gift. You keep it." And she's like, this material, I've saved it my whole life for something special. I wanted to weave with it. And now her niece cannot weave. She cannot weave anymore. So she's like, "I want you to have it. And you cannot save it for something special." And it's grown in Småland, where we are from. It's her family, like way back. They growed it and they treated it, and then I think they send it to other people to spin it, and then she got it back, and now it's just been in her house,
Wow.
and it's like 100 years, and I'm like, okay, so it's been growing here in my childhood for 100 years ago. It's crazy. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, and then I sent also to my friend there over in Madison. I sent her some because we were having an exhibition, and the first thing she wrote, she's like, "Oh, I can't use this. It's too nice." I'm like, "No, I promised her we're gonna use it." So when I start, if I'm gonna make like an exhibition with new works, I of course start with the research, and I dig into what has been made before, where does it come from, do I know someone doing it. And so the tradition, the history, that is like in the first step. And then I'm also a person who I'm sitting down and I'm drawing. That is important for me, to just not only read and not only make computer things, but actually to sit and draw and make patterns. And it can be like simple things. So like this is just a plain weave. So it's like warp and weft, very, very plain. But for me, it's also interesting to just squeeze them. This is the same, but the paper is just a little round instead, and then you make structures suddenly. Mm-hmm. It's the easiest, the most simple weaving you can do, but also the most difficult, because this is what you have to. The grid is like, this is what you have. And then of course I'm drawing, painting, and I'm going into the colors. Colors is very important for me. This is one of my pieces where I work with layers. So this is also an old weaving piece. And then, I draw by hand. Then I decide what kind of materials do I put up in the loom. This is woven on the TC2 loom. I've chosen a quite plain warp. It's cotton, white cotton. And then there is another process starting when I sit at the loom, when I'm there, because I don't make the drawings. How do all these color compositions, how do they work? I'm not doing that in the sketches. Here I'm making an overview, okay, I'm gonna do like reddish or blue and red. But when I weave, here is when I start, okay, so here I'm gonna translate this purple into more blue. And this is happening in the loom. So the process is both before drawing, sketching, but also on the loom. Very important for me. Both in colors. This is like linen cotton, so this is more, what do you say, like easy to work with materials. And then I'm also digging into new materials like sticks, or how does it look if I put in this thick one? This is interesting. How does it look if I put in like some crazy materials? That's cool. So, and I think I'm teaching in weaving, and there it's often people that's like, I'm gonna make like 5 towels. Fine, let's do 5 towels. When I'm sitting at the loom, I'm starting a towel, but it's never ending with 5 towels. It's ending like with new materials, new samples. So I think that is maybe what's nice for me, that I can teach in weaving. I can teach in the proper traditional craft. This is how you do a carpet. This is how you do a towel. But when I'm free at my own loom, it goes like this. It goes crazy, or like this. This you cannot dry your hands on, but I think it's fun. Some materials I have to cut up of when I'm in the loom, because it goes through the reed and then around, and then it goes around the beam here. But if I do have like sticks or like thick, a little fragile materials, it can't go round. So then I have to think, should I cut it before it goes, because it's gonna be a little squeezed and it's gonna go round. Maybe I don't want that. So it's a play machine for me to work and to see how do I put in different things.